This is the second video of the Quick Start video series to help you get moving in the process and get things going quickly. This one is how to use the AutoMarketer itself and how to get going with that process. So go to AutoMarketer, I'm going to suggest that you use the Zillow campaign, but you could also use Craigslist. Zillow has about a quarter of the ads that Craigslist does, so it's a little bit cheaper to use, but it'll also get you fewer leads than the Craigslist ads will. But start with Zillow and just get this going, then you can see how it runs, and then you can add the Craigslist, which runs pretty much the same way. Each one of these pages has a tutorial video button at the top of them, so if you want to do Zillow, you can watch this tutorial button. If you go to Craigslist, you can watch the tutorial button. It's above that. But I'm going to give you just the information you need right now in order to make this work. If you want all the details about what all this stuff means and how it works, then watch those fuller, longer videos that are on those pages themselves. When you first log in, you're going to see two default campaigns. They're going to have these little blue buttons next to them. There's going to be the Text Blast Series 3-month campaign. That's the one that you want. That's the one that it'll scrape leads from Zillow, from the area that you want, and then it will send out an email blast to those people using a 3-month sequence. So it'll send them texts over a 3-month period, and I'm going to show you how that works. So why don't I go in here and I'll edit the one that already exists so you can see exactly what you need to do in order to make that work. So click on that button, and if you noticed, you saw that one was an inactive campaign. And you can name this anything you like. I'm just going to leave the default name on it for now. And you're going to want to put the phone number that you purchased that I showed you how to do in the last video, and pick the one for the area that you're going to be doing. And I would suggest that you have an area code that is the same as the area that you're going to be calling into. So if I was calling into Indianapolis, I'd use the 317 area code. If I was calling into Los Angeles, I would use a number with a 213 area code. And I can buy more of those phone numbers at the phone system there if I choose to. Also, you want to pick your Zillow category. We're going to do for sale by owner. You have for sale by agent and for rent available as well. I suggest start with just for sale by owner. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to pick the area that you want it to scrape. The easiest way to do it is just put in the city and the state. Let's say I want to do it in Indiana, so I'll pick Indiana, and let's say I want to do Indianapolis. I can pick Indianapolis, and I can pick as many of the cities that I want. I would suggest that you do a different campaign for each state that you work in. So don't put this allows you to put in multiple states, but it's much easier to keep track of if you put in one state for one campaign, and then you create additional campaigns for other states. It'll also help you keep better track of it. You can also put it in by zip code if you choose. If I go to zip codes, I can put in as many zip codes as I want. Just separate them with commas, or I can actually create a generate zip code list. So I can say, let's say I want to put in all the zip codes within a 10-mile radius of 46224. I can click this generate zip code, and it will pull up all the zip codes in that area. And I can either apply all of them at once, or if I only want to apply a few of them, I can do that. Let's just apply a couple of them. And so it applies the 4 zip codes that I have. Now, for me to know how many ads are in these zip codes, I can click on View Generated URLs. And it's going to show me the different URLs search in Zillow, and I can go to each one of these in Zillow, and it'll show me how many people are in that particular search criteria. As you see, there's only one here, so this is a really small one. If I go to this next one, it's not even finding it. And this is an important note here. The reason it's not finding it is because Zillow is not set up to search under that zip code. So Zillow's odd about this. Sometimes some areas they have set up for all the zip codes, and other areas they don't. Some areas in Indianapolis they don't. Some areas in St. Louis they don't. So instead of doing it that way, you can just put in the city and state. Now, you can also click to see the cost of this campaign, and it's going to go look at these areas that you've picked, and it's going to try to figure out how many of them, how many ads are actually in those areas. This usually takes a minute, so give it a minute to work. So it found only one ad in all of these zip codes right now, which means it's not finding very many. Let's switch over here and put in Indiana and Indianapolis. And then switch over here to click the cost to see this campaign. It's going to save the campaign as it does that, and it's going to give you a new thing. Now it found 97 ads in that particular area. And it kind of gives you a breakdown of how much it costs to send this out. And these are just estimates, so you take it with a grain of salt. If you haven't put your billing information in, your credit card information in, you can click on edit your billing information, and it will take you to the billing page so that you can enter your credit card information. The only other thing you need to know on this is going to run this campaign every day. If you put one on here. If you want it to run every 2 days, you can put 2 on here, and it'll run it every 2 days. I suggest leave it at run every day. And we have a high number on here as a maximum. You want to probably keep that there as a maximum cost for the campaign, especially if you only have 97 ads in a particular area. So after you do that, go to step 2, and you want to put in your campaign filters. So we want houses, condos, or townhouses. And you can choose from this drop-down menu on which categories you want. If you want to put in keywords to look for or to include, or it must have that keyword in it, let's say all you're looking for is vacant land, and you want to put in vacant land, you can type that keyword in here. I suggest you keep this blank and leave all this stuff blank. But this gives you some criteria to allow you to make some changes and make more specific searches if you choose to do that. Next, go to step number 3, and it's already going to be set up with a 3-month text blast campaign. And you can change this campaign to use one of the other campaigns that are available, or you can create your own campaign if you like, which can either be a series of text messages or voice messages that can go out to these phone numbers. You can even set up campaigns that send out snail mail. And if you're using Zillow, that will actually work. If you're using Craigslist, you can't send snail mail because we don't have the ability to scrape the addresses of the properties that are on Zillow. But as what you can see here is this is the campaign that is going to go out, the text messages that are going to go out. And on day 1, it's going to send out this little message here. I saw your home advertised and wondered if you'd consider selling it, rent to buy. If so, I'm interested, let me know. And that's the message that'll go out to all the people that it's scraping in the criteria that you've chosen. On day 4, it sends out another message, and this time it's a little bit different, and it has a URL. And this is going to be a tracking link to one of your clone sites, and this clone site is the I Buy Houses type of clone site. We have several of them that do that, and I'll let you go through and you can copy and paste and you can look at your clone sites, or you can go to your clone sites and look at your clone sites themselves. Day 8, another one goes out. Day 15, another one goes out, and it continues to send out messages, text messages, for 85 days for each person that comes through the system. Alrighty, so step 4, you come to there and you tell it whether you want to create this lead as a seller or buyer. You don't have to change this. This is already going to be filled in if you're using the default. You want to put who this is going to be sent to, which one of your team members it's going to be sent to. And if you don't have any team members, you can go to team management and set up team members. If you don't do that, it'll send, whenever a message comes in, it'll send an email with that information to the default user of the system. So you don't have to put somebody in here, but it's nice to have it. It's also nice to put a tag in here. What I would suggest is you tag this campaign the same as you have this name here. And if I'm doing Indiana on one campaign and I'm doing Michigan on another one, I could type in Indiana here, and then, or I could type in Michigan, and then I could save that tag by creating a new tag, pasting that information in here, and create a tag, and it'll attach it to this section here. The next thing here you don't really have to think about, and if you want more information about it, go watch the video on this system. But basically all it's doing is sorting through the messages that are coming back and looking for people that are saying yes or maybe no. So if yes or maybes or no's, and then it categorizes them when that happens and lets you know this might be a yes, this might be a no. This little artificial intelligence system here is based on keywords, and it's about 70% accurate. It's not brilliant, but it does help you with that process. So that's all you have to do in order to get it all set up. The next thing you do is to activate your campaign. You can either schedule the time you want it to start, or you can start it immediately. The system won't send out text messages except between the hours of 9 in the morning and 8 at night. And the way it determines what time zone the people are in is based upon their area code of the phone number that it's sending out to. So if it starts the process and your 317 area code is the list, then it's going to look for Eastern time zone. If it's a 213 area code, then it's going to look for Pacific time zone, and it's going to send it out between 9 in the morning and 8 at night on 7 days a week, unless you schedule it to go out on a different day. And once you activate the campaign, then it's going to take you back to the AutoMarketer dashboard, and it's going to show you the activated campaigns. Now, as you see, I've got a lot of campaigns that are running here, and if you're running this many campaigns here and in the Craigslist system as well, which I do, you'll end up spending $100 or $200 a month on phone minutes, on phone numbers, on scraped ads. So keep that in mind. So pay attention to the costs on this stuff and watch or listen to this How Billing Works information as well, so you understand what your charges are going to be when you do it. One more thing that I'd like to explain quickly is this is the name of the campaign, and you can give this name, this unique campaign. This is the number of ads that it scraped for this campaign. This is the number of ads that were sent, there's reasons that this is 400 versus 46. That won't happen in your system. Yours are going to be closer to 355 to 274. It's going to look for duplicates in the system. And we ran this in a similar area with a different type of campaign. But this is the kind of response rates that you'll probably get. It runs anywhere from 10% to about 40%. I've seen it as high as 75%, and I've seen it down to 1 and 2% in a few different areas. So if you don't get a great response, but you see that messages are being sent and you're not getting any leads out of it, then it may be the area that you're working in. It could be the message that you're sending, but sometimes it's just the area that you're working and you need to expand your area. But most of the areas that you can work are going to get a pretty good response rate, and you're not going to have to worry about it. This is going to give you a rough cost of how much it costs to send out 46 leads at 2.5 cents a piece, and this is going to give you roughly the cost per lead, which this isn't accurate on this one. Most of them are going to be anywhere from 25 cents. Oh, here's one, 19 cents. You're going to see these anywhere up to like $4 per lead, based on the cost to scrape the ad, which is 8 cents a piece, to the cost to send it out, to the cost to having that text sent back to you as well. And then this little button, these little information here is the amount of clicks that you've had on that particular campaign. So on the 3-month campaign in this account, we've had around 200 total clicks from 153 unique people clicking on those links. There's some other things that you can do here is reset this campaign. It'll turn everything back to 0. Don't do that unless you just want to start over from scratch. This allows you to pause the campaign, or you can click on active and that'll make it inactive. This will allow you to edit the campaign and go back in. You can also edit the campaign by clicking on this. You can also clone the campaign. So if I want to do everything the same, but I just want to change one thing in the campaign, I can click on clone, and it'll create an exact duplicate of this that I can go in and modify easily. Or I can delete the campaign entirely from the system. If I accidentally delete a default campaign, I can restore that default campaign as well. It'll come back with all zeros and it'll start over again. If I want to add a new campaign, I can do it here. Sometimes it's easier to clone a campaign than it is to just add a campaign from scratch. And if you want more information about all this here, you can watch the tutorial and it'll help you go through that process. You can also look at just the inactive campaigns you've got, or the active campaigns, or all the campaigns that you've got. Or you can look at campaigns that are done within a certain date range as well and search that way. All right, that's going to get you up and running. It'll get your leads starting to come in. Go to Quick Start video number 3, and it'll show you what to do with the leads when they come in. It's going to teach you how to use the lead management system and how to look at the leads that you've got.